Episode 2 of Pathways Plus is brought to you by Summer Simpkins, Chantel Jessop, and supporters like you. For more information, go to www.pathwaystoenglish.org. Hello, welcome to episode 2 of Pathways Plus. Today we are going to be talking about commas. It's going to be our first lesson on commas. We're going to have multiple to come, but this is our first lesson on commas. If you have a piece of paper and a pencil, that would be great, and you can follow along as we learn about commas. So what are commas? When we read books, we need commas to help us know when to breathe and when to pause. So commas are crucial for us as readers. And so when we're a writer, we need to include commas in our writing to make sure readers know when to pause or stop. And we have some rules for commas when we need to use commas and when it's appropriate. Our learning target for today is, if you want to read it with me, you can. I am learning to use commas in dates and to separate lists. Let's slide. Our first key word is comma, and we're going to be talking about commas a lot today. And so you need to know what the word comma means. And hopefully by the end of the lesson, you understand what commas are. Our second word is separate. So I have some books and some bookends to help demonstrate what the word separate means. So if I have all my books and I want to separate the ones about animals and the ones about plants. So I'm going to pull out these two because they're about animals and the rest are about plants, and I'm going to separate them. So I took out the ones about animals and I put them right here. So separating means you take something that is together and you break it apart. Our last word is list. And when you go to the market or grocery store, you might make a list so you don't forget what you need to bring or what you need to get at the store. So you might need to get butter, eggs, milk, fruit, and you might make a list. As a reader, when you read things, you don't read it as a bullet point list. You just read it right across, like eggs, milk, butter. And so when we have a list when we're writing, we need to use commas to separate that list. Let's slide. So today we're talking about 2 rules that we use to know when to put commas in our writing. So the first rule has to do with dates, like months and years. So right here on the board, we have our rules about dates. So the first thing is we need to put commas in between the month day. So if you look at our example, it says June 21st, 2010. So 21 is a month day. And so we need to put a comma in between that month day and the year. And then the year is 2010. So June 21st, comma, 2010. Our other rule is the comma needs to be in between the day and the month. So if we're going to say the day of the week, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, make sure you put a comma between the day of the week and the year. So on our example, we have Friday, December 25th. If you look, we put a comma right after Friday, and then we have December 25th. One common mistake people make is they'll put a comma after December. And we don't want to do that. We have December 25th. We have the whole day. If you look at the first example, you don't want to put a comma after June. You want to say June 21st, comma, 2010. Let's slide. Our next topic that we're going to talk about with commas is lists. So when we make lists in our writing, we need to put commas after each item in the list. So let's look at our example. It says, my favorite fruits are mangoes, strawberries, and pineapples. So what is our list? Is our list about favorites or is it about fruits? What are the words that are part of our list? Those words are mangoes, strawberries, and pineapples. Those are the 3 things that are part of our list because we're talking about our favorite fruits. And so after each item in the list, we're going to put a comma, except on the last one. So you're putting a comma after each item except the last, and then you're going to put one right before, make sure it's right before the and and insert the word and. We don't want to say my favorite fruits are mangoes, pineapples, strawberries. We want to make sure we have and at the in between the second to last and the last part of our list. So if you see in our example, we have and between strawberries and pineapples. And do we have a comma after pineapples? No, we don't. Because even if we restructured this sentence and said, mangoes, strawberries, and pineapples are my favorite fruits, we don't want a comma after pineapples. Let's slide. Okay, so now is when you're going to want to use your paper and pencil, and we're going to write down these sentences together because as we get practice in commas, we're also going to get practice in writing and making sure we know how to spell things and having good penmanship. So you can go ahead and copy the sentence on your paper with me. So this sentence says, her birthday is July 28th, 2002. So let's write that. And I want to talk about the word her. The word her, we can hear the h, and then when you hear it's either going to be an ER, IR, or UR. In this case, it's an ER. But we have AR that makes R, and we have OR that makes OR. But ER, IR, and UR make So her birthday, you can hear the in birthday. Birthday is, and is an important sight word that you need to know how to spell, is July, make sure, and we capitalize July because it's a month, 28th, 2002. Okay, so make sure you're copying this down with me. Okay, so in our rules for dates, we know we need to put a comma after the day of the week, but do we have the day of the week in here? We don't. We don't have Monday or Tuesday, Sunday, so we don't have to worry about that. And then the second rule is that you need to put it in between the day of the month and the year. And the day of the month is a number, so the 28th, and then the year, 2002. So we need to put a comma. So get your pencil out and put a comma in between the 28th and 2002. Awesome, let's slide. Okay, we're gonna write down this sentence. So this sentence says, will you get apples, bananas, milk, and cheese from the market? So let's write that down. You is an important sight word. You should know YOU. Get apples, bananas. Bananas is a fun one. BANANAS. Bananas, milk, and cheese from the market. From the is a sight word that you need to know, THE, market. And if you can hear mark, so that's the AR. If it was market, it would be IRER, but it's R. So whenever you hear R, you know you have to do an A and an R. So market. And you can see we have a question mark because it's a question. Will you? They're asking them, will you? Okay. So here we can see that it's not a date. There's no dates. There's no months, no days of the week. It's asking a question about, let me go back. This one gives us a list of things. So we have apples, bananas, milk, and cheese. So we need to put commas in the list. So we're going to put commas. Remember, we don't put it before any of them, but we put it after each word except the last word. So we have apples, comma, bananas, comma, milk, comma, and cheese. Do we put it on cheese? No, we don't put it after the last one. So here are the items in our list: apples, bananas, milk, and cheese. We put apples, comma, apples, comma, bananas, comma, milk, comma, and cheese. No comma. Let's slide. Okay, so now we're going to do more practice. So I just modeled two. I modeled one with dates and one with a list. So now we're going to practice. I want you to do a little more work this time. So let's write this down together, and I'm going to have you think about it for a little bit. So let's first write it down. We are going on Tuesday, June 4th. So let's write we are. R is an important sight word. That's kind of a tricky one because we have the R sound, but we have an E at the end. That's a word that you just have to know in your head. R with an E. We are going, and then going is a word go, G-O, and then ing is an end of the word that you'll see a lot, I-N-G. We are going on Tuesday, June 4th. Tuesday, June, and we capitalize Tuesday and June because they're a day of the week and a month title. So I want you to think about this. Where are we going to put the comma? Think about it. If there's someone next to you, talk about it with them. Figure out where are we going to put the comma. And I'll give you one hint. We only have one comma here. So where are we going to put it? Okay, let's see if you got it right. So we need to put the comma in between the day of the week and the month. So what's the day of the week? Tuesday, and then the month is June, right here. And we don't have a month or a year here. If we had a year like 2002 or 1996, we put a comma and then just write 1996, period. So we would have another comma there. All right, let's slide. Okay, let me read our next practice to you. Mary, Jack, Joseph, and Anne are in this group. So let's write that down. Mary, Jack, these are all names, right? Mary, Jack, Joseph, and we're capitalizing names because we always capitalize names of people, and Anne are in this group. In, and remember, R is a word that you just need to know. In this group is kind of a hard one. G, R, and then really quick, a trick right here with group. When you have two vowels, A, E, I, O, U, if you have two vowels, when two vowels go a walkin', the first one does a talkin'. So here's our two vowels, O and U. The first one is gonna make the sound. So gr, oo. That O makes an oo sound, so group. Okay, so Mary, Jack, Joseph, and Anne are in this group. All right, now work with someone next to you, someone around you, or work on your own and figure out where do the commas go. And there's more than one in this one. So try to put the commas on your paper where they go. I'll give you a few seconds to do that. Awesome. Okay, let's see if you got it right. So we have Mary, Jack, Joseph, and Anne are in this group. Let's think about, is this dates or is it a list? It is a list. Let's talk about who is in this list, or let's talk about what things are part of this list, or what people, I guess, are part of this list. We're talking about a group, and we have Mary, Jack, Joseph, and Anne. Okay, and then our rule for list are we do it after each part of the list, but not on the last one. So Mary, Jack, Joseph. Once you see the and, then you need to stop because you know you don't need a comma after and. Okay, awesome. Hopefully you got that right. If you didn't, that's okay. Keep working, talking to people around you, and seeing if you can figure it out. Let's slide. Okay, this is our last practice. It says today is Monday, December 22nd, 2019. So let's write this one down. Today, so we have to and day, and we always capitalize the beginning of sentences. Today is Monday, December 22nd, 2019. A period at the end of the sentence. Okay, I want you to try this one on your own. I want you to think, is this a date or a list? And where do I need to put the commas? I'll give you a few seconds to do that. Okay, great. Let's see if you got it right. So, is this a date or a list? It's a date. We have Monday, December 22nd, 2019. And I'm just going to underline that so we know this is all what we're working with commas. Monday, December 22nd, 2019. Our rules for dates are that we need to put them after the day of the week, so in between the day of the week and the month. So what's the day of the week in this sentence? Monday. What's the month of the year? December. So we're going to put it in between. And then we need to put it in between the day of the month and the year. So what's the day of the month? And remember, this one's going to be a number. 22nd is the day of the month, and then here's the year. So we have 2 here. So if there's ever a day of the week, the month, the day of the month, and the year, you're going to have 2 commas. Awesome. Let's slide to the lab work. Okay, so now for the lab work, you're going to do this on your own. You'll pause the video, work on your own. You're going to write these sentences down, copy them down, and then put the commas where they go. We've talked about the rules for dates and lists, and all of the commas will go along with the rules that we've talked about. So you know everything. I've taught you we've learned everything you need in this lesson for you to put the commas in the correct place in this lab work. So pause the video, and then once everyone in the room has finished, unpause the video and the answers will show up. Pause the video now. Let's slide to the answers. Okay, the red commas are where the correct answer is, so where you should have put the comma. So check your work. If you got some wrong, maybe there's someone next to you that got them right that can explain what you did wrong. If you got it wrong, that's okay. You can watch this lesson again and maybe something will click that didn't click before. Pause the video so you can check your answers, and when you're ready, you can come on back. Pause the video now. Let's slide to review our learning target to see if we hit the target. Our learning target was, I am learning to use commas in dates and to separate lists. So I want you to self-assess. If you feel like you really got it, you got all the lab work right, and you totally understand it, give yourself a 3. If you feel like you're almost there, you just need a little more help, and maybe you just need to watch the video again, and maybe something will click, give yourself a 2. And if you are totally lost and you need a lot more help, give yourself a 1. Whichever one you are, it's okay. Just be honest with yourself, and there's always people that can help you on your path of learning. Great job on your hard work today. We'll see you next time on Pathways Plus.